Tokyo, 1982. On the Bayshore Route, or Wangang as the locals called it, you could hear the whirring of turbines and the roar of engines breaking the silence at night. This is where the first street racing enthusiasts gathered. These were street races that were not shown on television and were not written about in newspapers. It was a closed club, an elite group of street racers known as the Midnight Club. In those years, Japan was experiencing a car boom. Legendary models such as the Nissan Skyline, GT-R R32, Mazda RX-7, Toyota Supra, and so on were appearing in the country. A new culture of speed was forming on the streets of Tokyo, Wangan Racing, and at its center was one of the most mysterious groups in the history of motorsport, the Midnight Club. Midnight Club was founded around 1987. It was a closed group of street racers operating on the Bayshore Route, a section of road connecting Tokyo and Yokohama. The races took place late at night when traffic was minimal. The club's goal was not money or competition with other groups, but to achieve consistently high speeds over long distances. The average speed of the races was around 160 miles per hour, with some cars reaching speeds of 190 miles per hour and above. At the end of the 1980s, such speeds were rare even among professional race car drivers. Most participants owned Nissan Skyline GT-R, Mazda RX-7, Toyota Supra, and Porsche 911 turbo cars. Each car underwent detailed engineering preparation and most participants tuned them themselves. Midnight Club Code. The main rule of the club was safety. Racing was only allowed on sections of the track with little traffic, mainly after midnight. Anything that posed a threat to other road users was considered a serious violation. If a club member caused an accident involving a civilian vehicle, they were expelled without the right to return. Chaotic racing, drifting, overtaking with the risk of collision, and gathering spectators at the start or finish were prohibited. A candidate for club membership had to prove that they were capable of controlling a car at a speed of at least 155 miles per hour in a stable manner. The club consisted of about 30 active members. Most of them were adults, engineers, auto repair shop owners, small business owners. The Midnight Club had a policy of not accepting young and inexperienced drivers. Candidates were screened for months, and most applications were rejected. The police knew about the club's existence, but there was little evidence of its activities. The racers avoided chaos, did not gather crowds, and did not organize exhibition races. The main route ran along the Wangan Highway from Tokyo to Yokohama and back, covering a distance of about 40 miles. Their cars moved in an organized manner without sudden maneuvers, which made it virtually impossible to record violations. The personal data of the participants was not disclosed, and there were no official lists of club members. The races were held in secret. Announcements about the races were published in newspapers, ostensibly about the sale of some trinkets. The only symbol of the club was a small sticker with the words Midnight. It could be obtained if the driver successfully completed the race at a minimum speed of 160 miles per hour and looked confident. However, there were people who received the sticker and disappeared without a trace. The club's management introduced a pink sticker for newcomers and a silver one for those who had been members for at least a year. If someone who was not a member of the club put this sticker on their car, it could be vandalized. Midnight Club remained in the shadows, but its presence was felt throughout Tokyo. Night police patrols increasingly recorded cars traveling on the Wangan Highway at speeds exceeding 300 kilometers per hour, but there were almost no arrests. The racers appeared suddenly and disappeared just as quickly. They knew the route better than the road services, every intersection, every section of pavement, every roadside radar. The club's main area of activity was the section of the highway between Kawasaki and Chiba, about 70 kilometers long. It was a perfectly flat highway with no sharp turns, making it ideal for high-speed racing. The racers gathered around midnight at parking lots along the coast of Tokyo Bay. Here they exchanged technical data, checked tire pressure, oil temperature, and turbine synchronization. Midnight Club did not participate in inter-club races, but their appearance on the track attracted the interest of other street teams, such as Top Secret, RGO, and ABR. For many, they were like a ghost, a legend confirming that the limits of what is possible can still be pushed. Sometimes journalists or photographers tried to follow them, but such cases were rare. Any attempts to film a race were perceived as interference and could end in threats or damage to equipment. The police repeatedly tried to establish the identities of the racers. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, the Kanagawa Prefecture Traffic Control Department set up a special team to monitor the Wangan route. They used hidden posts, civilian cars, and even helicopters. But not a single arrest directly related to the Midnight Club was made. Their discipline and organization made them virtually invulnerable. The club reached its peak in the early 1990s. At that time, the tuning culture was flourishing in Japan, With companies specializing in engine, suspension, and aerodynamics modifications emerging, workshops such as RE Amemiya, Blitz, Top Secret, and Veilside offered solutions inspired by the approaches of Midnight Club members. Stability at high speeds, not just power. By the end of the 1990s, the Wangan Night Highway was no longer what it used to be. Increased police attention, a growing number of imitators, and undisciplined street gangs made the old races impossible. In 1999, an incident occurred that became the final straw. During one of the night races, a group of bikers tried to join the race without knowing the club's rules. At high speed, an accident occurred in which people were killed. There is no official confirmation of the Midnight Club's participation in this race, but shortly after the incident, the club's stickers disappeared from the track. The club was disbanded. No statements, no goodbyes, and it just disappeared. Over the years, the club has become legendary. Its story inspired the manga and anime series Wangan Midnight, which appeared in the 1990s, and later video games that captured the atmosphere of Tokyo's nighttime streets. Today, the word midnight has become a symbol of Japanese automotive subculture, not as a rebellion, but as a pursuit of perfection.